Okay, I talked about a couple things I learned. This new pump had the cables pointing in a wrong direction from the other one, and if this was actually pointing that way, I didn't realize though these bend pretty easily, and they bend apparently without kinking, because I was able to turn this one from being faced that way to being faced this way, and I ran my line around here under the hose and was able to get this line to come here without kinking, so that's important. The other thing I didn't realize is one of these lines is bigger than the other, so you can't put the lines back on incorrectly. They'll only go one way, so that's helpful. I got these hooked up. I decided just to put the switch on to see what would happen, and nothing happened. They didn't run when I put the switch on. So I went on to YouTube. By the way, there's some great stuff on YouTube. And this is the little button that works the fuel tanks. It looks like that. Little button right here. And to get this off, this just pulls off really. But to get it off, you have to get these things off. And to get these handles off, you have to use a tool like this and come up behind that and prise it off. I was prising it with one hand and working the other side with the other, because there's a little spring-loaded thing inside of these, and you have to kind of get a hold of that spring thing and flatten it out for it to come off. And you'll notice there's actually even a little notch here, so if you had the exact right tool, you could reach in that little notch and put your prise bar behind that little spring thing. But anyway, the way to test these is this line here. It's black and white. Well, if you put a hot wire to that, which I've got a hot wire right here, what I did was I ran this right around to the battery. If you touch that wire, the back fuel pump will run. If you touch this wire, the front fuel pump will run. Back on the black and white wire, forward tank on the red wire, and the center red wire is the fire that comes from when you turn your switch on. Well, I'm not getting any fire in that line, so that's probably why it stopped working. It was working somewhat before, then it stopped working altogether. Now I'm guessing, and I haven't tested this yet, but I'm going to, this thing has a switch under here in this right here, this little green switch, and when it engages, it makes a little clicking noise. It'll go click when you turn the switch on. Well, I was testing it the other day by taking it off, using a multimeter, running fire to it, but I'm willing to bet I'm not getting fire to this unit here, and I'm going to test that here in a second, which is going to mean somewhere between here and there I've not gotten fire, and I'm guessing I'm going to find a fuse box or fuses somewhere. Maybe there's a bad fuse somewhere. I don't know. I think there's one right there. Yep. So anyway, that's where I'm at. That's where I'm at. Oh, the other thing is I'm going to go ahead and put that cup on that's up under there. It would be real easy to leave it off because I found something that was keeping it from running, but I don't. Once I get it running, I want everything working right. So now that I've mastered how to disconnect the fuel lines and everything, it might not be too hard to change that cup. I think there's a bolt that holds it from the outside of the frame, so I'm probably going to find something to lay on, crawl up under there, and just go ahead and get that cup changed. Earlier, while I was working, I kept having a dirt dauber flying around me, and maybe that's why he was flying around me, is a dirt dauber's nest right there. Mercy sakes. So this is the new one that I'm going to be putting on there. And I just realized something. It came with a bunch of clips. It occurred to me that the reason they send you a white clip and a black clip is that one will fit one side size and one will fit the other. For example, the one on the left, I believe, is a bigger line than the one on the... Let's see now. Yeah, actually, see, this one is smaller than that one, and this one is smaller than that one. So I've got two small lines here and one there, and I've got two large lines here and one there. So that's 6 lines altogether. And that's why they send all these clips. So far, I haven't used any of the clips they sent me. I've used the clips that came off of that, and I'm going to go under there and try to take that one loose. What I'd like to do is unbolt it from the frame, and the way it's on here, I think it comes loose from the frame pretty good. What I'd like to do is just kind of take it loose and then hold the two of them like side by side and reconnect everything. That way I don't mess up the lines. But there's 2 screws here, and I believe I read on YouTube that those were 10 millimeter. Yep, they are. So that should come loose pretty easily. And then I'm going to be working from in here. What I might do is stick y'all to the frame over there. That way you can kind of watch me, and I can be hands-free while I'm doing this. Now it seems pretty obvious. These 2 go in the bottom, these 2 go in the top. They've got little clippage things here. So that should be pretty easy. And obviously the front 2 go in the front, and one side is bigger than the other side. So that should make it pretty easy to not mix up the lines. Yeah, so probably I could just go ahead and take this one completely out of the system and then come up with the other one and stick it back in there. So before I take it loose, I'm going to pop all of the little lines off. Let's see, now where can I put you? I might could put you, stick you to the back of the transmission mount right here. And bring you, I can bring you up. Now, can you see? Yeah, that's where my hand is. You can see my pretty little face in there if you look hard. Okay, so let's, I don't think I need that flashlight. Let's pop this loose from out here. That's a screw that looks like this. And I could set that right there inside that. Well, and then again it might fall down. That's all right. Oh, I was going to leave that on there until I took those loose, wasn't I? Well, I didn't do that. Oh well. That may be just as well. See what, I think I'll put these 2 in my pocket, and I'll get a little screwdriver thingy to pop these loose with. Now I got gas coming out. I don't know if it's going to stop if I'm gonna need a bucket under me. I better go get one. Oopsie. I'll turn you off while I go find a bucket. Once you get the clips out of these, you can get a screwdriver in behind that little thing that goes onto the gas line, and you can kind of prise it back a little gently, but doable. So I'm expecting this to leak gas when I pull it off. Hopefully I can catch it. That may be running out of the gas tank. I had read somewhere where somebody had said when you take these lines off, if you raise them up, you can keep them from leaking on you. But I might want to be, well, kind of ready to have the other one in hand, so that if I have to slap it back on there, I can. I've still got 2 more clips on this front line, and they're both on the inside. I could see if I could get the ones that I can see that it's on my side here, if I could get them to come off. It'd be easier to get my finger in there to get the next one off. Ooh. That one's got a leak to it. Now, I might want to, well, I have to think about this. Yep, this line's coming. Maybe I should slide back and get positioned. I don't want to necessarily drain all the gas out, but I'm going to have to pull this one off, I think. So maybe I can pull it off and see if I can stick it up and have it stop leaking. Going to be running down my arm either way. Oh, and I'm not going to be able to move it far because the one on the inside there, see, it's connected right here with this little clip. So I might want to go ahead and get that one, get that clip out first, if I can. Yeah, I can get my little crooked screwdriver up in there and do a little prizing on it. That does make it come out. That was tricky, but I got them in there. So I got 2 more lines up here. And I believe I can push my bucket out of the way now. I'm gonna need to get my head over there to put those 2 on. Go up to the front. So it seems like the white clips go up top and the black tips go on the bottom. Clips, tips, clips. There we go. So it's probably kind of a trick to getting these on here, but I haven't quite learned it yet, but I'm getting close. Seems like you might have to hook one side in and then kind of woggle it around to the other side to get the other side in. We're learning as we go. on in there now. Almost in there. I might be wrong. Maybe that side takes a white clip. Could be. My arms are getting tired, I can tell you that. I got that one on. There. All right. So that thing seemed like it was dripping right up to the point where I got it snugged into place. It's almost like the position of the container and the position of the lines and everything has to line up. There's a little wet spot on this corner, on this line right here. But that's where it was leaking from, and now that it's sitting up in there, maybe I don't know about this. Maybe the pressure of where it's sitting and how it's sitting keeps it from leaking. I still got a few drops coming, but they're slowing down. I don't know what to make of that exactly. Maybe there's some things you just ain't meant to understand. You just do it, and if it works, you're good, and if it don't work, then you have to think again. I think I'm gonna get me a rag and dry this off so I can keep an eye on making sure the leak stops, but also I'm gonna want to turn the pumps on to see if it leaks when the pumps go on. I can do that. But I probably don't want to do it while my hands are soaking wet with gasoline, because that's gonna involve making a hot wire to a switch. I think I'll grab you and bring you out. You've had enough of this up under here, and I'll go get me a rag and come back under here and do a little cleanup. Oh, joy. It pleases me being under this truck and looking at it because the truck is in really good shape. Up in Maine, you'd never see a truck like this one with no rust on it. I mean, a truck as old as this one. You know, it's funny, up in Maine, they consider them antiques a lot quicker, I think, than they do in Georgia, because the trucks, everything rusts out so much. People that have vintage cars only have them because they've taken really good care of them, or they've done a tremendous amount of body work. I have to give it to Mike. You know, he restored that Studebaker. He drug it out from behind a gas station, and he said it was in such bad shape when he got it that it was beginning to come unwound. And what I mean by that is, if you think about that Studebaker, it looks like a box. And he said when he got it, the box was coming apart. It was kind of laying out. That's what will happen when a car rusts out. It'll begin to, at a certain point, it'll begin to relax into the earth. But he managed to keep her good and have her be good. I don't see anything leaking under there, but like I said, I'll go get a rag and dry that off, and then we'll study on it some more. Thanks for being with me this long. Appreciate you putting up with me in spite of everything.